You ever hit that point where smiling feels like lying? Where you're surrounded, but still feel alone? When even your prayers feel like whispers into silence? And you're just hoping, begging, that someone, somewhere, sees you? If that's you, this psalm isn't just a verse, it's your lifeline. There comes a moment. Maybe today is that moment for you, when the weight of life becomes too heavy to carry alone. You're tired. Not just tired in your body, but soul tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. The kind that sneaks up on you in quiet moments. When you're alone with your thoughts. When you're smiling in front of others, but crumbling in silence. And in that fragile space, you look up. Not because you're strong, but because you're out of options. I lift up my eyes to the hills. It's not just a poetic verse. It's a survival cry. It's what you whisper when you're barely holding on. When your soul aches for something, someone to step in. Where does my help come from? That question doesn't mean you failed. It means you're finally honest. And that's where faith begins. Not in having all the answers, but in daring to ask the question. And the response is immediate. My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Pause with that. Your help doesn't come from money, from people who promised and disappeared, from the strength you don't have anymore. Your help, your real help, comes from the one who created it all. The same God who breathed galaxies into being, who sculpted mountains and carved oceans, leans down and says, I am here to help you. And he's not helping you from afar. No, he will not let your foot slip. Do you hear that? Your steps, the ones you take in fear, in pain, in doubt, are not random. They are watched. They are steadied. Even when you feel like you're walking through fog. When the ground feels unstable beneath you, he steadies you. You may trip, but you will not fall. You may stumble, but you will not be destroyed. Because he is holding you. And unlike people, he doesn't sleep. He who watches over you will not slumber. You need to know that. Because maybe you've been crying at night, wondering if heaven even notices. Maybe you've whispered prayers into silence and wondered if they just evaporated. But the word says he never slumbers, never sleeps. He is always watching, not with eyes of judgment, but with eyes of love. And the psalmist repeats it again, just in case you missed it the first time. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The God who watched over the entire nation of Israel, the God who split seas and brought water from rocks. That same God watches over you. He doesn't miss a second. He doesn't look away when it hurts. And he's not just watching passively, he's protecting. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. Can I tell you something? Life will burn you. People will say things that cut deeper than they know. Circumstances will press down until you feel scorched. And it's in those moments that God doesn't always remove the sun, but he becomes your shade. When the sun of betrayal burns your trust, when the heat of financial pressure blisters your peace, when life scorches your sense of worth, he steps in, not to remove the fire, but to shelter you in it. That's his love. It doesn't always take you out of the heat, but it holds you through it. And he holds you when it's loud, but also when it's quiet. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. That means the chaos of your day won't break you, and the silence of your night won't swallow you. Because some battles aren't visible. Some storms are internal. Anxiety, overthinking, emotional exhaustion, nights where you stare at the ceiling and wonder why you feel so numb. But Psalm 121 is saying, even there, even then, he's got you. Even when you haven't felt Him in a long time, when worship feels flat, when prayer feels empty, when you wonder if you've somehow drifted too far, He stays. Maybe you haven't felt God in a long time. Maybe the goosebumps are gone. The worship doesn't hit the same. And prayer feels like talking into the ceiling. But faith isn't a feeling, it's a knowing. And Psalm 121 isn't promising a goosebump, it's promising a God who never leaves. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. That doesn't mean you won't cry. It means you won't collapse. It doesn't mean you'll never break, but when you do, He will rebuild you. Stronger, softer, deeper. You've been through storms that should have wiped you out, and yet, here you are, still breathing, still standing, not because of luck, but because of mercy. There were nights when giving up felt easier than holding on, when the silence screamed louder than hope. But somehow, you're still here, not because you were strong, but because He was. That's what Psalm 121 means. You were never walking alone. And now comes the whisper we all need in the deepest parts of us. He will watch over your life. Not just your Sunday morning, not just your highlight reel, but your real life. The anxiety, the heartbreak, the questions, the past you don't talk about, the future that scares you, the habits you can't shake, the loneliness that creeps in even in crowds. All of it. He watches, and He stays. And then, the final verse that brings everything home. The Lord will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore. That means when you start something new, He's there. When you end something hard, He's there. When you walk into unknown places, He's guiding. When you come back from a season that almost broke you, He's waiting. He doesn't just meet you at the destination. He walks every step. And not just for now, forever. So right now, don't just close this video. Whisper Psalm 121 to your soul. Pray it back to the one who gave it. Tell Him, You are my help. You are my keeper. You are my shade. And even if I walk slowly, I know I'm never walking alone. If this spoke to something deep in you, don't keep it to yourself. Drop a comment and say, God, You are my help. I'll pray over every single one. And if you're walking through a hard season, subscribe, because this channel is a shelter for weary souls just like yours. You're not alone here. Not now. Not ever.